What if I told you that there is a simple daily habit that doesn't require a lot of exercise or giving up your favorite foods, and yet can still help you burn body fat, especially if you're a senior? In this video, you'll find out what it is. Before we get there, let's talk about the only two things that matter when it comes to fat loss. It's not intermittent fasting, it's not eating at a certain time. All it is just calories and protein. Those are the only two things that matter. In other words, all the other things are trivial, negligible, nonsense, don't matter, etc. Intermittent fasting makes no difference if you do it or you don't do it, as long as you meet the adequate requirements for calories and protein. If you eat after 6 or you don't eat after 6, doesn't matter. The ratio of carbs to fats don't matter. The only two things that matter, again, are calories and protein. And that's very encouraging because there are many different ways to get to the same end goal with different approaches. So what is this habit that helps you burn body fat without exercise or giving up your favorite foods? Simply, it's something called mindful eating. Now, you've heard this term before and it's given a very woo-woo, spiritual kind of context, but let's take the woo-woo out of it and define what mindful eating is. It's very simple. When you're eating, just eat. Don't do anything else. Don't watch TV, don't scroll through your phone, don't read the newspaper. When you're eating, just eat. When you're eating, just pay attention to the texture, flavor, and smell of your food. That's it. That's mindful eating. Sounds simple? It is. Simplicity is how you make long-term behavioral changes that stick. Why can't you stick to a diet? Because there are too many changes. Focus on one thing consistently and try to get better and better and better at it for long-term behavior change. So how does mindful eating help you reduce body fat as a senior? There are a bunch of different ways, different mechanisms. One mechanism is that it helps you feel your fullness signals sooner and better. It takes between 15 to 20 minutes for the unfull signal to go from your stomach to your brain. But if you're distracting yourself, you're not paying attention to that signal. As a result, you might keep eating past the point of fullness. You don't want to be bloated, you just want to be satisfied and full. As a result of it, it prevents overeating because you're paying attention to what's on your plate and what's in your mouth. And a third way in which mindful eating helps you reduce your body fat without giving up your favorite foods is simply by reducing cravings. Why do we crave what we crave? Because if we're not eating mindfully, what our brain does is it records another event and eating separately. For example, if you're scrolling through your phone while eating, your brain records, oh, I'm scrolling through my phone, not I'm eating. Okay, so the record of eating wasn't recorded as a separate distinct memory. But if when you're eating, you're just eating, your brain records that as a distinct memory, thereby reducing cravings later on in the day. It doesn't miss, it has a memory of eating, so it doesn't have a memory of scrolling through your phone. As a result, your brain says, I've already eaten, I don't need anything else. Cravings are reduced as a result. Cravings are the silent underminer of fat loss success. If you like this information, we have a newsletter with more information just like this. If you click on the link in the description below, that'll take you to a page where you can subscribe to our newsletter, and you always have the option of unsubscribing. So how do you eat mindfully? There's something you can do before the meal, during the meal, as well as at the end of the meal. So what should you do before the meal? I've talked about this in other videos, but it's something called the hunger fullness scale. If you're about to sit down to eat, before you do that, ask yourself, on a -10 to a +10 scale, how hungry or full am I? If you're between -10 and -1, you're hungry. If you're between +1 and +10, you're full. If you're in the pluses and you're about to sit down to eat, wait. Don't sit down to eat just yet. Keep waiting until you get to the minuses to sit down to eat. What that will do is it'll allow you to listen to your body better. Maybe you'll eat fewer meals, maybe you'll eat fewer calories as a result of understanding you're sitting down to eat not because you're hungry, which is the only good reason to eat, but because it's just time to eat. It's just out of habit. So that's what you do before the meal. Once you've sat down to eat the meal, ask yourself halfway through the meal, how full am I? If you're already 80% full or more, stop eating there. Take the rest, put it away in your fridge, and then finish it later. If you're 80% full now, chances are you'll be 100% full in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. Finally, once you've finished eating your food, again, rate your hunger and fullness on a 0 to a +10 scale. How full am I now? You want to be about 7 or 8 out of 10. You don't want to feel so full that you're 9 months pregnant with triplets, but you do want to feel satisfied. Not full, not bloated, but satisfied. But if you end up rating yourself as 9 or 10 out of 10, Ask yourself, did I eat an adequate amount of food or did I eat an excess amount of food? And if you felt like you ate an excess, simply reduce it. Again, notice that I didn't say eat more of this, eat less of that, etc. I just told you pay attention to what you're eating and pay attention to your body signals. If you try to implement this consistently and you make a game out of it, over time you'll start to eat less and less and less without a sense of deprivation. Of course, as I told you about earlier, the only two factors that matter are calories and protein. But in this video, we're really only talking about the calories. What about the protein side of things? What are the best protein sources? How much do you need? I cover all that and more in this video, so check that out right now.